Hi there, welcome back to the Arcane Forge. My name is Josh, and today I want to talk about how you actually go about finding a group to play D&D. And that can either be online or in person. The key piece of advice that I would give is that if you could, offer yourself up as DM. There's a lot of truth to the "if you build it, they will come" saying. So if you kind of like the idea of DMing, maybe you've never tried it before, who knows, but if you want to give it a go and you definitely want to find a party, there are way more people who are looking for a group than there are people who are looking to form a group. So if you offer something for people to come to, then you're probably going to find a lot of people very quickly. But there are various places that you can look to either find existing groups or to advertise to create one. So if you are inclined to plumb the depths of Reddit, which I would definitely recommend, the D&D communities on there are actually very welcoming. So if you go on any of the D&D subreddits, or especially on LFG, looking for group, where you can basically post literally whatever kind of game or system you want to play, and you will probably find someone in your area who wants to either join or is already playing and needs another member. I personally have never used this service, but I definitely will in future. There is a website called Meetup.com where you can go to find people who are interested in all sorts of different hobbies, but one of those is definitely Games Night. If you go on there and advertise a game that you're either looking for people or you're looking to find an existing group, you're very likely to find someone on there, depending on your area. It seems to be a lot more popular in the States than it is in the UK, although it is growing over here as well. So give it a shot. You never know what you're going to find. You might go there looking for a D&D group and end up finding a great knitting circle, but who knows? If you don't mind who you're playing with, or what content they're doing, you just want to play some D&D, I urge you to check out the Adventurers League. It's basically a public group that's likely to be going on in many of the games shops that are nearby you. And basically it's for people who maybe are new to an area or don't know anyone else interested, to instantly and definitely find a regular game. The downside is that it sounds like these groups are kind of less roleplay orientated and more about let's get through some content, more like you'd play a computer game. But if you are jonesing for some D&D and you just want to experience content in a fantasy world on a regular basis, then the Adventurers League is definitely a place to go. If you're interested in playing online games and don't mind so much about whether or not you're playing in person or not, I urge you to look up Roll20.com. It's a largely free service with a lot of content that you can purchase, character sheets. They have like an iPad version, all this kind of stuff where you can play live with people. You can see who you're playing with. There's like video conference calls and maps, top-down maps for encounters. But if you don't necessarily want to be finding new people, you could always ask your friends and your family if they are interested at all in having a go. If you've never asked, you might be surprised by who is interested in giving it a go. Some people might be embarrassed about liking it. There is still a stigma sometimes about playing D&D, but I've never met a single person who has not cast aside that stigma instantly upon actually playing it and enjoying the game. You might be surprised who actually is really excited about it to begin with. My partner's aunt, for example, is weirdly excited about playing some D&D, which is really cool. There are a couple of people springing up in the comments who are a little bit embarrassed about the idea of their friends finding out whether or not they're interested in D&D. And if you can find the courage to ask them if they want to play, or next time you're having a games night, just bring it up as a suggestion, print out a kind of pre-made campaign or a pre-made adventure with pre-made characters just to make it easy, and throw it on the table. You might be surprised. They might actually like the idea of it, or maybe safely, ironically think it's a cool idea and then actually find out that they love it and want to do a lot more of it. But if people want to judge you for playing a game, have some sort of preconceived notion about the kinds of people who play D&D, they might not be worth having as friends anyway. Because if you want to play this kind of thing and you feel embarrassed about it, you shouldn't really keep people in your life who want to shame you or make fun of you for the things that you enjoy, even less the people who want to make fun of you for something you've not even tried yet. Friends are supportive people, and if they're going to discourage you from doing something which is actually really nice, because they have some preconceived notions about the kinds of people who play D&D, and they want to make fun of you for that, they probably aren't a great person to just keep in your life. Because D&D is a game. It's a fun game, but it's just a game. And playing it just means that you play that game. It doesn't mean anything attached to that or anything on top of that. It just means you play a game. So anyone who reads more into that than there is, has some very sad things that they need to work out of their own lives. But I digress. Once you have decided kind of where you want to start looking for people, you will need to put an advert out there. It's simple enough. If someone's already advertising, you just want to swoop on in and join, just leave a comment, go for it. But if you're forming a group or you want to find new people, you might want to make an actual advert, an image or text-based advert that you can display on forums or even print out and take to some places where you're likely to find some people that might be interested. You could take it to a library, a public library, or to your nearby games cafes or game shops. See if they'll have a public notice board where you can advertise that you're looking for players or looking for a group. And although it's important for this advert to be eye-catching, it's also important for it to be truthful about what you're actually looking for in a game. Well, what should this advert say about you and about this game that you want to play? Well, the first thing is you should say, where you want to play. What city are you in? Do you want to meet in person or online? When do you want to do it? Do you want to do it in weekends or evenings? It might be a good idea to keep this open until you've found who your group will be. How many players do you want to join the group? Or if you're looking for players, I suppose that's just you, but do you want 3 or 5 or 6 or what have you? It might be a good idea to set people's expectations, because if a lot of people start flooding in and you find 3 or 4 and that's what you kind of envisioned, it might be okay then to say we found all the players we were looking for. What level of experience are the players that you want to be playing with? Is this your first time playing? In which case you might want to have some slightly more junior players who can learn and pick this game up as they go along with you. Or you might want to go for some veteran players, some very experienced people who can kind of guide you and shepherd you through your first adventure. You yourself might be very experienced and therefore want to either play with newer people and kind of have that Disneyland-like experience of seeing them enjoy this for the first time, be mind blown by what is possible, or you might want to play with other experienced people and kind of have the kind of min-maxing, everybody knows the rules, it's a very streamlined kind of experience. So it's a good idea to make that clear in the advert as well. When people respond, it's a good idea to have some follow-up questions, because you're probably going to be inviting this person into your home on a regular basis. You're going to be seeing them all the time. And you need to know whether or not you actually want to see them regularly. So with my current group, what I did was, I had the advert out there and then I got a lot of responses, which was very nice. When people responded that they were interested, I sent them a little questionnaire which had on it things like, what kind of computer games do you like to play? What kind of adventures do you like to go on? What kind of power fantasies are you interested in? Do you prefer something really difficult like Dark Souls? Or do you prefer something really character driven, a bit more like Dragon Age 2? Tons of little questions that basically build up to finding out whether or not this person wants to play in the kind of game that you want to play in as well, and whether or not their personality is going to be relatively compatible with you as well. Now that might seem like a really weird step, but it does work. The group that I'm playing with now, I consider family. They are very, very close, and it's important that I vetted these people because I know they want to play the kind of games that I want to make, and I know that we have similar senses of humor, we have similar interests, and it just made for a very, very streamlined, very easy game. There's no kind of like person management on top of player management. And after you've narrowed down these kind of applicants, it's kind of weird to say friend applicants basically, but once you've narrowed down a lot of these applicants into people that you think are going to enjoy the kind of game that you want to play, it's a good idea to meet them in person. You can see what their personality is actually like. You can hang out with them, go for a cup of coffee, go meet in a public place, and hang out. And if you enjoy their company, bring character sheets and books, and use it as an excuse to build their character. It's almost like a person interview. Alternatively, a lot like a trial shift, you could have trial games. You could have some pre-written adventure, or maybe a kind of adventure that you have written yourself. It would showcase a lot about how someone wants to play in future, to see if they're compatible with how you like to play. You could invite a few people that you really enjoy to a game. Maybe if you have an existing party and you just want to add like 1 or 2 extra people, you can have a bunch of games like this. And then you can see who is the most compatible with your group, or who is the most compatible with you after playing a fun night of D&D. So you get to play even more D&D, and you can narrow down who you think is going to be a great choice to come and join you by playing more of the game. So there's no downside to that one. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. Hopefully it'll help you find a group if you're looking for one. If you already have a group and you used some method to find your party that I didn't cover here, make sure to leave it in the comments below. It could help a lot of other people out. If you enjoyed this video and you found it useful, I'd really appreciate it if you would give it a little thumbs up, a little like down below. Maybe favorite it and share this video with other people who are looking for a group perhaps, maybe struggling to find some people to play with. All of that massively helps the channel to grow. If you want to get a little bit more out of the Arcane Forge, I also have a Facebook, a Twitter and an Instagram. And I've also recently launched a Patreon page if you really want to help support the channel and also get some interesting goodies back, including prints and custom commissions and all of that kind of stuff. I'll leave some links in the description. So thank you very much for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you later.